his opponent, Josh Barnett, at UFC 168, and he's back. He's in studio.
Wow.
Travis Hapa Browne is back in the show. What's up, my man?
How you guys doing?
Dude, killing it, man. So I can't wait to talk to you about this fight.
Oh my
because going into the fight, and I'm watching all the countdown stuff. I'm watching all the pundits, and everybody's talking about it, and everybody's picking Josh Barnett. Everybody's saying, Josh Barnett, who is the youngest UFC heavyweight champion, but that was 15 years ago. Okay, so give me a break. And they're all saying, no, he's back. Oh, he's gonna beat Travis. And I'm like, really? Have you not been watching what I've been watching?
Right.
Because what I've been watching is Travis Browne destroying people. Absolutely destroying people. And so I was like, okay, well, whatever. I guess they're not seeing what I'm seeing. You go in there, and within a minute, Travis, fight's over. You knocked him out. Pretty easily.
And it changed everyone's opinion because the headline now on ESPN.com is Travis Browne makes title statement.
Oh, yeah.
So they changed their tune real quick on you.
So, Travis, were you hearing people talk about the fight beforehand, and what were you thinking?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people, like you said, were picking against me. And, on paper, of course, I understand. The guy was the UFC champion in
Long-time vet.
2002.
He's a contender.
Sure.
Yeah, he's been in the top 10 for 12 years now. You know what I mean? So it's hard to pick against him when you have a guy like me who's been in the sport a total of 4 years.
Yeah.
But the thing is for this camp, all the coaching and everything, we all came together. We got the right training partners out there, and we had the luxury of having Ricky Lindell, who's my wrestling coach, who trained Frank Mir to fight Barnett just in his last camp. So, he knew Barnett's style inside out. I love Frank Mir. He's one of my friends, but we're just two different fighters, and stylistically and mentally and everything, we're at two different places in our career.
Sure.
So we knew going into that fight that it was going to be a different fight than fighting.
What happened with Frank?
Yeah, what happened with Frank, and
does Frank, you guys are training together, is he giving you those inside, like, hey, look out for when he does this, or any of that kind of stuff going on?
No.
I mean, their fight didn't last very long, so I don't know how much he could have told you.
Yeah, exactly. So their fight didn't really last long. That would be like Barnett going and helping somebody get ready and say, well, you don't want to do this, and that's pretty much all that happened.
I know.
Yeah, so it wasn't too much with that about that with Frank. It was more the coaches already knew what we were going to do.
And so going in, did you have that supreme confidence, like, I know I'm going to beat this guy?
Yeah, and and we understood his strengths. So during the fight, after I threw kind of a lazy jab, and I saw him parry, and then I threw a hook and a cross.
Yeah.
And I landed the hook hard, and I saw him kind of get a little uneasy.
No. Yeah.
And then I think I hit him one more time, and then he clinched up with me, and I just sidestepped and pulled him down. And he went down to 2 knees. I was like, oh my gosh!
And
you said it's over.
You had to know that was his game plan was going to be to clinch with you and try to put you against the cage and do what he does. So you were prepared for that.
Oh yeah, definitely, and especially after he felt the difference in speed. There's a jab where I hit him and it rocked his head completely back, and you just. From me, I mean, I'm as close as you and I are, 2-3 feet away,
which makes me nervous.
Yeah,
even though we're boys.
And his face from the beginning of the fight until when I hit him with that jab, and it completely changed.
Really?
You know what I mean? It
so
was
you
just
could see it, and that's got to give you confidence too, right?
Yeah, there's desperation. You could see desperation in his face, like
that really just happened.
Yeah, that happened, and I don't know, like he was sitting there, and we're going back and forth, and he gets hit, and he just kind of sits there like, did I just get hit? You know what I mean? Like, is that what just happened?
Wow.
It was.
And you could see that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so you guys get up to the cage. He's kind of, kneeling down, trying to, double leg you or something. And you go, oh, I've been in this position a few billion times. And you just start dropping elbows, which is how you knocked out Gabriel Gonzaga a couple of fights ago. Yes. And you did it again. What's going on with these elbows, Travis? Are they something different? You got steel plates in there or something? I mean,
no, I think it's I think it's just commitment to a technique, and people don't understand that this is MMA, and you can make stuff up as you go, and it's very effective.
Yeah, because it's such a young sport. Yeah. Like, it's still in its growing phases. Because we see guys clinch up in that position all the time, and you don't see people get knocked out like that. And you've done it now twice.
Yep. Twice
So,
in 1 year.
Right.
And it's the only 2 in the UFC. That's the crazy part.
That's so sick.
But if you get elbowed in the temple sky by a 240-pound man,
Yeah.
you would imagine that's going to hurt, right?
Yeah, the Hapa.
Why
I just got Hapa to the head.
Yeah.
Hapa to the head.
That's a good term. I like that, getting hopped.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you knocked him clean out.
Yeah, and the fight against Gonzaga, that was the first time I ever practiced it and did it in a fight.
Wow.
Was in the fight against Gonzaga, and
Yeah.
then the second time I ever saw it or thought about it, the second time was against Barnett, and it was just there.
So
Yeah.
I'm guessing the next fight, if somebody tries to take you down,
Right.
I'm guessing we might have to hop him again.
Yeah,
You know.
you just might.
Yeah,
I don't mind though.
It seems to work.
Yeah, those elbows are padding my pockets a little bit.
Right? And Travis gets knockout of the night.
Oh,
Extra
awesome.
50 G's.
What
What
up?
up?
Yeah,
It's a 75?
For this one.
What?
Yeah, baller.
Dude, I'll take it. What
Yeah,
up?
baller.
Not
I'll
too
take it,
shabby.
Breakfast burritos for everyone.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh man, but dude, so there you go. I mean, it was a huge win, biggest of your career, and everybody's talking, title shot next. Obviously, though, Cain Velasquez is injured, the champ is out, so they're talking maybe you fighting Verdum.
Yep.
Fabricio Verdum, which you called him out in the cage, which, by the way, I love.
Yeah.
You really are working that interview mic
I know, I love
skills with Joe Rogan.
No, it's good.
I love it, man.
Statements.
Hey, listen, that's how you get things done in the UFC. You gotta make some noise. You don't just fight whoever they put in
Look
front
at
of me.
Chael Sonnen and how many fights he's gotten
Right?
because he freaking talks
Uses
like
his mouth.
that. Yeah.
And Travis does it in a professional manner. It's not
Of
like
course.
you're disrespecting
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
But you said, hey, listen, you're number one, I'm number
Let's
2.
go.
Let's fight it out.
Yeah.
Let go.
Especially with the champ out. You
Yeah.
know, there's no reason for him to sit out a year and a half for
That'd
a
be
title
ridiculous.
shot.
Yeah.
And if he's going to become irrelevant in the sport in a year and a half because the sport moves so quickly, so, I don't mind making more money, and I'm sure he doesn't either.
Yeah.
And,
That's what it's about.
Yeah, and I think I'm more than confident knowing that I can go in there and win.
Yeah.
So
He's a different style for you, though. I mean, this is a black belt jiu-jitsu guy who, he's got some stand-up skills. I think you are clearly better in that department. But what do you think about him overall as a fighter?
Oh, I think we have a guy down here in San Diego. He just started training at Alliance. His name's Neil Melanson, and he helped me get ready for Barnett because he's really good on the ground. He's about 275 pounds, 6'4".
Oh my Lord!
I mean, he's the same thing as going against Verdum. So training with him is gonna be epic for this fight. And being here in San Diego, like during my off time, I get to work with him and roll with one of the best grapplers in the world.
That's crazy.
I understand that Verdum's a black belt, but so is Frank Mir, so is Neil. So
Frank Mir snaps people's arms in half, so he knows what he's doing.
I trained. I used to train with the Nogueiras and stuff when I was at Alliance here in San Diego, and it's like I have that experience, and I trained to fight Gonzaga, who is the same
same kind of fighter,
as Verdum, So it's it'll be a fun.
Well, you called him out. You said, "Listen, let's make this happen."
Yeah.
Before
Called him out on a date.
right. And so, what do you think? Have you heard anything? Has there been any peeps from his camp, or what's the deal?
It's been real quiet.
Yeah, I would be quiet too after seeing that.
Yeah. It's been quiet, and it's not about him, not wanting to fight or anything like that. I don't think. I think it's just, the UFC is trying to figure it out. His camp's trying to figure it out. Maybe just kind of talking.
And it seems
back
like
and
he
forth.
does want to wait for Cain to come back.
It seems like that,
but which isn't going to be until the end of this year, of 2014.
Yeah.
So that'd be a long time to
So
not fight.
He didn't. The last time he fought was last June.
Yeah.
So that would be seriously a year and a half.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a lifetime for fighting.
Like I said, he's going to be irrelevant.
Yeah.
By the time he comes back, people are going to be like, "Why? Who's?
He's
Who did
what?
he fight?
Yeah.
Oh, a year and a half
Yeah,
ago?
no way.
And then you have a guy and me coming off 3 first-round knockout wins. People are going to be like, "Why isn't he fighting
Just
for
give
now?"
him the belt.
Yeah,
no
you know
doubt.
what I mean? It's like, so even now, people are like, well, my pedigree and who I've fought and who I've beat is, besides maybe Cain and Junior, is the top in the UFC.
It's got to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that they're gonna.
So,
shy away from
obviously, we don't want to look past that fight. Hopefully, that fight will happen in the next few months or whatever. You're obviously ready to go.
Yeah.
If you get past that, title shot? Gotta be, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
I mean,
Yeah. There's no, like I said, there's nobody else out there.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that...
well, and you're knocking people out, so people want to see you fight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you fighting the champ, I mean, that's as good as it gets, dude.
Yeah,
Well, he's earned it. Like you just said, 3 first-round knockouts in a row. Like, come on.
I mean, it's like one of those things where if I don't get a title fight after this fight, do I have to go from 10 to 1 and beat all those guys before
Yeah,
I get
right.
a shot? There's
Impossible.
There's no way.
Impossible.
You know, like I said, I beat the cream of the crop. The only person that I haven't fought and beat is Bigfoot and maybe Junior. But now I'm third. Then it goes, then it goes Verdun, then Junior, and then Kane.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Junior's going to fight his way back up. He has probably 2 fights before he fights
That'd be
for
an
the belt
interesting
again.
fight for you, too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
I would.
Yeah, and I think that him and I could fight. Probably, I bet you, I fight Kane. If I beat Kane,
Yeah.
that would probably be my first title
No
defense.
doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Lots of good stuff coming up on the horizon, man. I mean,
Yeah.
all these matchups we're saying, I'm like, yeah, that'd be an awesome fight.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wanna
that'd be
see
an
that.
awesome
I wanna
fight.
watch that.
Be great, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Is I look forward to those fights.
Yeah.
And I don't look forward. I'm sorry. I don't look at it as being disrespectful, and I'm going to get in a fight with them.
Sure.
I look at it as being like I have the honor of going out and competing with these top
You're
athletes.
testing yourself against the
Exactly.
best in the
It's
world.
an art. It's a passion, especially for someone like you who's like completely mentally committed to this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the beard that you have rocking right now.
Yeah, I'm going to get into the beard.
Oh, it's
Lots to
sweet.
do with it,
Because
too.
on the broadcast, I don't remember if it was Joe or Goldberg who said, maybe the best beard. No, it was John Anik who said, maybe the best beard in MMA.
Oh, it's great.
Which is it was something to be said, being that Roy Nelson's got his giant beard, Johnny
Sure.
Hendricks. They're liking your beard, man.
Roy's got a scraggly beard.
Yeah, it's a
That
mess.
That thing looks like it
Yeah,
has
you
mange.
keep it nice and tight.
Yeah,
When'd you decide to go to the beard?
Last April it was actually a bet between me and my cousin, and it was the first one that shaves has to pay the other one $500.
Oh, you were doing that.
heck no.
No,
Heck
no way.
Easy top this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I trim it here and there,
Yeah.
and try to keep it tight. That way, I don't have birds flying out of
Right.
it. Yeah, critters hiding in there.
Still get your Thanksgiving dinner in there.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. I definitely try to keep it clean.
So, are you gonna keep it for a while?
Oh yeah.
You like it?
Nice.
It's a good look.
Yeah, it's
I'm
staying.
digging it, man.
Yeah. I'm just gonna let it grow, man.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
I like that you brought the boys in, man.
Yeah.
Now, whenever you talk about your kids,
Yeah.
you get very emotional.
Yeah.
Which, as a parent, I same way. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
And that's why you do this. I mean, really, the reason why you train and you're away from them and is for them.
Oh yeah, big
right?
time. And the thing is every time you see me on camera and I start crying because of my kids, is because I haven't seen them
Right.
probably in about 6 to
And then
8
they stick a
weeks.
camera in your face and go, "Talk about your kids."
Yeah, and then they're
Heartbreaking.
like, "Hey, so what about your kids?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just like, I haven't
Gosh.
seen them for 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, I
Yeah.
freak out.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him was like, I think I went out to camp right around the 28th of October, and I didn't see him until the 30th of December.
Oh my
brutal, dude.
god!
But that's got to give you that
Oh, yeah.
motivation and that strength of
Right.
like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
doing this for a reason.
Definitely, and that's where Jenna and I we were out in Albuquerque, and
Your
you
beautiful
know,
girlfriend.
yeah,
Hopefully she's listening. Hi, Jenna.
Okay, Ashley's weirdly obsessed with you. Real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting to the point, Travis, where I'm a little concerned.
So hot.
Yeah.
Anyways, go
mediocre
on.
at that.
Love it.
But yeah, so we're out there and we're at Thanksgiving and Halloween and I treat it like it was a Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
not
with those-
a holiday.
yeah.
Aw.
And unfortunately, she had to sit there with me and go through it. And she's like, "Oh, happy Thanksgiving." I'm like, "It's a Thursday."
Yeah.
And she, she's
Totally.
like, "Oh, bummed."
When
but-
you're not with your kids and your family, that's
Yeah.
not a holiday. What are you celebrating?
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
and I was like, I do have a lot to be thankful for and stuff like that, but I'll be thankful after my fight.
Absolutely.
And so I sent, I flew her back to Florida to be with her folks for Christmas Eve and Christmas.
Nice.
It was like a Christmas present to them.
Yeah.
We surprised them with it.
Oh,
And
that's
so,
cool.
her dad and her mom were so happy to see
Yeah.
her. So I was in Vegas actually by myself Christmas Eve and
Oh
Christmas
my
and stuff.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And, it was just one of those things. Like I said, it was a Tuesday and a Wednesday. It
Yeah.
wasn't Christmas
Yeah.
Eve and Christmas, and all that stuff happened. When
So
I got back.
let me ask. As soon as you get home, is it just balls to the wall Christmas stuff? Or had to be, right?
Monday we walked in the Toys R Us and walked out with like $800 worth of stuff.
Hey man, you get KO the night. It's like whatever you want, kids.
All this stuff that I had to go through, it felt so good.
That's
great, you know what I mean?
Man.
And it just like I got home and I was just able to be with my family. You know,
that's the best.
What a great feeling.
Doesn't get any better.
And enjoy that win and all that sacrifice just really comes
paid
down.
off.
How long can you enjoy this? Like how long until you go, all right, now that's done.
Yeah.
Let's go forward.
On the way down here, I was already talking to my coaches and watching that fight and picking myself apart and telling them what I want to work on. And you know, I'm not going to be happy even if I win that belt. I'm not going to be okay with where I'm at.
You're not going to rest, right?
No, I want to leave a legacy, you know, and something for my kids and my grandkids, and you know, I want to make a name out of you know the Browne household.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
And that's what I need to do, and I won't be happy until that happens.
Has something changed mentally for you? Because we've talked to you for years. You know, I mean, we've known you for a while, and when we first started talking to you, you didn't talk like this.
Yeah.
You weren't like, I'm going to be the greatest of all time. Yeah. You enjoyed fighting, and you talked about. But this is a different Travis. I mean, the way you're talking like a champ, man.
Yeah. You know, a lot has changed. Over the last, I would say 2 years, it's really been a process for the last 2 years.
Is that a mental process?
It's a mental process, and it's obviously it's turned into a physical one because
you're a beast.
Yeah, well, I mean, I walk around at 240, maybe 245 pounds, you know, and where before I was, you know, when my first day at camp for Czech Congo, I weighed in at 275 pounds.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean, so physically, it's a lot different. You know? And I'm treating I'm treating the UFC and fighting not just as a job but as a career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a big difference. People and I didn't understand what that meant until I had to take that moment where last year I was in Albuquerque for 8 months out of the year, and because I had 2 fights not happen, I was a backup for a 146 all heavyweight card, and then Rothwell, he pulled out 8 days before the fight, so I fought for Chad Griggs. I started camp in February, fought him in April, a week later went right back to camp to stay ready for 146 just in case, and then right after that took 2 weeks off, took my boys to Hawaii and stuff like that, and then went right back into camp for Ben Rothwell, and then he pulled out 8 days before, and then 2 weeks later I had to be back in camp for Bigfoot in October. You know what I mean?
So it was nonstop,
nonstop, back to back to back, and then you know, that really showed me, you know, what I'm capable of doing. You know, and I grew so much as a fighter, and even this year alone as well, how much I've grown as a fighter, and not only as a fighter but as a man in general.
That's
and
awesome.
Understanding my place, and understanding too, and this is where a lot of people don't get it, is that I'm not the biggest thing out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's, and I understand that. You know what I mean? And so that's okay with me. You know, I'm not
You're just the best you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
always
not,
be improving.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like I'm not a superstar, famous guy walking the red carpets on movies and stuff like that. I'm just me.
Yeah,
you know
your
what I mean?
dad.
I'm a dad. Yeah.
That's
and,
it.
And that's the thing. That's what reminds me every time I come home is.
Heck yeah.
So, Dad, next time you might want to throw a punch and then a kick, and then an elbow.
Right.
So that way you don't get punched. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Figure it out.
Okay. Sounds good. Son.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Next time go be in the corner.
It's just like it's so awesome too because you know, we're at the mall yesterday and. You know, this couple and this woman was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a huge fan. I have my kids in my hands, you know, and we're just walking down the mall and stuff. And, you know, and they grow so fast. That's what I was doing yesterday. I had to spend
How old are your boys?
7 and Calvie's about to be 6.
That's
on the
crazy.
11th.
Wow. Yeah, they are growing up fast.
And in the last 2 months, you know, the pants are 2 inches too short.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the shirts are horridly, you know, showing like midriff. You know,
Right.
Yeah. Stop growing.
What did I do to you?
Right? Absolutely.
But so we were getting them clothes and stuff. But anyway, a fan comes up and says, you know, hey, I'm a huge fan, this and that. And my kids are, you know, I can see them off to the side because you know I put them with their grandma and and stuff. And the fan walks away, so excited. They're like, Dad, why why are they so excited to meet you, to see you? Do you know them? I don't know them. Then how do they know you?
Yeah.
It's confusing. They humble me real quick.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And I love it, you know, because we just laugh about it, and
you're just dad, man.
give them a kiss, and I think, you know, having that heart is really, you know, what drives me too.
Right.
You know?
Well, being a big radio superstar that I am, Travis, I totally get that as well. You know, I can't go anywhere, basically.
Oh man, Eddie, how do you do it?
Anyway. Well, anyway, Travis, giant congratulations, man. We're so stoked for you. Obviously, you know, you've been a fan of this show. We're a huge fan of yours, and it's been awesome seeing the progression and you kicking ass in the UFC, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Dude, love it, man. All right, well, good luck, and let us know when the fight goes to happen, man, because we want to be there. That's going to be crazy. So cool. Hey, weed's legal, you guys.
Yeah, puff it up, Eddie.